Learn about 31 situations where we don't need to use the, plus the exceptions. Hey everybody, welcome to another video from Oops English. In the last two videos, we talked about situations where we need to use the. If you haven't watched them, I'll just put them right here. Please go and watch them first, then come to this video. In this video and in the next video, we're gonna talk about situations where we don't need to use the. I decided to divide this video into two parts because I didn't want to make the video too long for you. Let's get started. With plural countable nouns and uncountable nouns, when we talk about things or people in general, we don't use the. For example, I love music. Music is an uncountable noun. We use computers. Computers is a plural countable noun. 2. With meal times, breakfast, lunch, dinner, we don't use the. For example, what did you have for breakfast? Come around after dinner. Dinner and breakfast are meal times. We don't use the with meal times. Number 3. With Mr., Mrs., Ms., Doctor, Captain, etc. plus a name, we don't use the. For example, we call Dr. Johnson, not the Dr. Johnson, Dr. Johnson. Other examples can be Queen Catherine, Uncle Robert, Captain Johnson, and similar ones. Number 4. With the word space, when it means space in the universe, we don't use the. There are millions of stars in space, not in this space. An exception can be, I tried to park my car, but the space was too small. This space doesn't mean space in the universe. Number 5. With institutions, when talking about them in a general way, we don't use the. For example, her son is at school. We're not talking about a specific school, we're talking about a school in general, so we don't use the. She spent a year in prison. Prison in general. Do you go to church? Church in general, not a specific church. Number 6. With a date when you write it. His birthday is on July 29th. You don't see any the written in this sentence. Number 7. General with times, days, months, we don't use the. They had to leave at midnight. I'll see you on Saturday. The theater opened in May. You see that these are times, days, and months, and we don't use the before them. Number 8. When the name of an establishment begins with a name, we don't use the. Cambridge University. But be careful, when the name of an establishment does not begin with a name, we use the. So we say the University of Cambridge. Other examples can be Manchester Airport, Victoria Station, Sydney Harbour, Buckingham Palace. But the Royal Palace, royal is an adjective, it's not a name like Buckingham. 9. With the word man, when we refer to human beings in general, we don't use the. What do you know about the origins of man, not the man? 10. We don't use the with many names of shops, restaurants, hotels that are named after people and end in S or apostrophe S. McDonald's, Barclays Bank or Barclays, Macy's department store, St. Patrick's Cathedral. You see, these names end in S or apostrophe S and we don't use the before them. Number 11. With academic subjects, we don't use the. She got top marks in math and chemistry. We don't say the math or the chemistry. Number 12. Sports. We don't use the with the sports. Did you play soccer at school? Not the soccer. Soccer, only soccer. Number 13. With nationalities and languages, we don't use the. Do you speak English? Is she English? We don't say the English, only English. 14. With adjectives plus the word people, we don't use the. French people are very friendly. We don't say the French people. Just to remind you, in the video about when to use the, we talked about the plus an adjective to refer to a group of people. So if we say the French, we mean French people. But if we say French people, we don't need to use the. Number 15, with abbreviations that are acronyms, we don't use the. For example, FIFA is the organization that runs soccer's World Cup, not the FIFA. Canada is a member of NATO. We don't say the NATO. But with initialisms, we use the. Initialisms are the words that are pronounced letter by letter. The FBI is investigating the case. FBI, the FBI, we pronounce it letter by letter. It's an initialism. Alright, it's the quiz time. I'm gonna give you some sentences and I want you to tell me why we don't use the with these nouns. Stay with me. 1. Sugar isn't very good for you. Why don't we use the with sugar here? You've got 10 seconds to think. Sugar is an uncountable noun and we talk about sugar in general. 2. We had lunch in a very nice restaurant. Why don't we use the with lunch? No the with meal times. 3. When I was a child, I used to walk to school. You've got 10 seconds to think. With words for institutions in general, we don't use the. 4. At night, the temperature drops below 0. The reason is that, generally with times, we don't use the. My favorite subject at school was math and English. With school, we don't use the because it's a place in general. With math and English, we don't use the because they're academic subjects. Alright, it's the quiz time. I'm gonna tell you some. Alright everyone, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned and as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.